Step 1 is to record the location of safety items. As you enter C21 to the left, behind the hood, in the front of the room, you'll find the fire blanket and fire extinguisher. When you open the box, the blanket is on top and the extinguisher is below. Another important safety item is the eye wash, as well as the shower. Enter C21 to the left, and in front of the hood, you'll find the eye wash and the shower. Take your Bunsen burner and compare it to Figure A in your lab document. Note the barrel and the air supply adjustment valve. Attach the hose to the gas valve, which is already done, and turn on the gas. You can feel it, hear it, and smell it. Take your Bunsen burner striker, position it 3 to 5 centimeters above the barrel, and light the flame. Note that I can change the quality of the flame by adjusting the air supply valve. If I add enough oxygen, I can create a distinct inner and outer cone, which you can see when I turn off the lights. The inner cone is the most distinct blue part, and the outer cone can be viewed faintly around it. Obtain a piece of copper wire. Using crucible tongs, place the copper wire above the barrel and note that you record or observe nothing. Then at the top of the outer cone, again, you can record that you observe nothing. But now look what happens at the top of the inner cone. Almost immediately, the flame changes color to indicate that the metal is heating up. And if you look closely over time, the metal starts to glow red hot. If you give it enough time, the metal eventually begins to bubble, which indicates that it's melting. You can even see copper ions being released, the green color of the flame. Yikes, that's hot. Be sure to record your observations in the data table found on the second page of your lab document. Obtain a jewelry scale. Set it flat on the table, open the lid, and turn it on. Be sure that the units read grams and that the balance reads 0.00. Obtain a weighing boat. Determine the mass of the weighing boat and record the mass to the nearest 0.01 grams in Data Table C. Data Table C can be found on page 2 of your lab document. Obtain a beaker labeled NaCl from the lab materials provided by your teacher. Measure out approximately 13 grams of NaCl. Note that the initial mass of the balance included the mass of the weighing boat, approximately 2 grams. On top of 2 grams, an additional 13 grams of NaCl should give you a total mass just above 15 grams. Record this mass in Data Table C. Remove the weighing boat with the salt. take opposite corners of the weighing boat and squeeze them together. This creates a spout to pour the salt out of. Hold your test tube at a 45-degree angle and carefully transfer the salt from your weighing boat into your test tube. Obtain a clean, dry 30 milliliter beaker. Determine its mass and record its mass to 2 decimal places in data table D. Data table D can be found on the second page of your lab report, and you're recording this mass in the empty space in column 7 for step 7. Obtain and add water up to the 5 milliliter mark on your beaker. Record this mass to 2 decimal places as the mass of beaker plus 5 milliliters of water in data table D. This again will be under the first column for step 7. You'll need a calculator. Subtract from the mass of the beaker plus 5 mils of water the mass of the empty beaker and record this answer as the mass of 5 milliliters of water in data table D. Now continue to add water up to the 15 milliliter mark in your beaker. Record the mass to 2 decimal places where it says mass of beaker plus 15 milliliters of water in data table D. Once you have this written down, you'll use your calculator again and subtract away the mass of the empty beaker. Record this answer as the mass of 15 milliliters of water in data table D. Continue to add water up to the 25 milliliter mark in your beaker. Record the mass to 2 decimal places where it says mass of water plus beaker in data table D. Note that this is a typo. Record this mass anyway. Use your calculator, subtract away the mass of the empty beaker, and record this answer as the mass of 25 milliliters of water in your data table. Now obtain a clean, dry 25 milliliter graduated cylinder and record this mass under step 8 as the mass of the empty beaker in data table D. Similar to step 7, we will add water again up to the 5 milliliter mark. Record this mass in data table D as mass of empty cylinder plus water in the step 8 column. Continue to add water up to the 15 milliliter mark. Record this mass in data table D in the column where it says step 8. The space would be mass of cylinder plus 15 milliliters of water. Continue to add water up to the 25 milliliter mark and record the mass again. Once you've recorded all of those masses, again, take your calculator and from each of the combined, subtract the mass of the empty cylinder to determine the mass of 5 milliliters by itself, 15 milliliters by itself, and 25 milliliters by itself.